Good morning and welcome to my hobby bench. On the bench today I've got the Webra T4-40 that I attempted to make a run video of with yesterday and was completely unsuccessful in getting this engine started. And I'm not entirely sure why. I had the carb set, high-speed needle set to 2 full turns open, and I really didn't touch the low speed adjustment because the instructions said that they were fine or preset from the factory, so there did not seem to be an issue with this drawing fuel into the engine, but yet it still would not fire at all. I think I got, at one point, I pulled a plug and I shot some fuel directly in there, hydrolocked it, then unhydrolocked it, and I was able to feel a bump. But after continued attempts at hitting it with the starter, it did not fire at all, and then eventually it just started to feel like it was grinding, like it was very dry or something. So I pretty much bailed on that run attempt yesterday, but now, well actually yesterday after I got home and took this thing off the stand, maybe it was just a matter of that it got hot from my attempt to try and run it. It feels smooth as silk now, and I've relieved some of the compression because it has very strong compression after yesterday's run attempts. Now I did have an OSF glow plug in here, and I made sure that that's a 4-stroke plug, and it was not contacting the rotating barrel at all. So it wasn't the fact that my plug, I had the wrong plug. I mean, that's not the plug that Webra recommended for this, but the plug that Webra recommended is not something that's readily available. It's a Webra number 5 or something like that. I'd have to look in the instructions. It was not a plug that I've even had a chance to look up yet, so it's a 4-stroke engine. Maybe I could have put a 2-stroke plug in there. Maybe it would have been a different story. I don't know. But I tried it with the OSF plug, and it did not contact that. So right now, this thing feels smooth as silk, and I'm kind of debating on whether I even really want to do this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this belt cover off, I'm going to take the head off, I'm going to take the rear cover off, just to kind of see if there's anything that, just to look inside, I guess, because I don't think there's really anything I'm going to be able to do to or for this engine. Okay, so it looks like there's a spacers here that I need to put back on when I put that on. Now I know in the past when I had one of these engines, I'll probably have to take the back cover off before I take the head off because I want to make sure I get it timed correctly again. Because there are timing instructions in here, I believe. Bear with me for a moment. Let me read this and see what it says. Because I don't necessarily, taking the head off, obviously the timing is going to be off. Setting the rotary valve. When mounting the motor, care must be taken that the rotary valve in the cylinder head is set correctly in relation to the crankshaft. When the piston is at top dead center, the mark on the prop driver must correspond with the mark on the casing. For proper positioning of the drive belt, the markings prop driver to casing and drive belt to cylinder head must be aligned. Let's see if I can see a marking on the prop driver. Let me take this. Oh wait. I think, let me get my magnifier here. I think I might see a little indentation. Okay, so I see a very, very light little dimple there. I'm going to go grab a Sharpie marker real quick. And I'm going to put a dot on that thing so it's a little easier to come by. Okay, so there, hopefully you can see that. There is what I feel is the indentation that they're referring to. Now what I want to do is I want to take the rear cover off and see if it said something about an alignment mark on the timing gear, I thought. Rotary valve cylinder head sit correctly. When the piston is at top dead center, the mark on the prop driver must correspond with the mark on the casing. I don't know that I saw a mark on the casing. Mark on the casing, proper positioning, drive belt. Markings on the prop driver to casing and drive belt to cylinder head must be aligned. I don't see a marking on the casing that they're referring to. You'd think it would be right where this mark is, but it'll just say top dead center. Let's just pull this rear cover off real quick. Hopefully the gasket doesn't break. You know, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe it feels fine now. It doesn't make any sense to me why I couldn't get this thing to fire. I had compression, I had ignition, or I had, you know, heat in the form of a hot glow plug, and I had fuel. So I mean, there's really no reason for this thing not to fire, and it was really baffling.
Alright, so here's that.
So we are at top dead center. I don't think I don't think I want to mess with this gasket, but in the course of touching things, I probably should take it off. Trying to see if it feels like any fuel got in here at all. I mean, I know it was drawing fuel. Alright, so we're at top dead center. Marks at top dead center. Can I just slide the belt off at this point? Is that the recommended way to do this? Now, before I do that, I think I want to put a mark on something here that denotes top. Something that I'm not going to be able to necessarily touch. Now see, here's the thing, is that this belt
is slightly offset
from the head. So I'm putting a mark right there. Maybe on here too, denoting that that's the top. It may not be in line this way with it, but it is the top. So let's hope that I don't mark those off, and now I can slide this belt off. Our belt is free. So it doesn't feel, there's a little bit of fore and aft play there, which I'm hoping is normal. Let's see how these head screws come out. So we got those two screws, the casing, we got that there. I don't know that this is going to tell me anything other than give me an excuse to tear open a brand new engine. I don't know. But maybe some of you will find this interesting to look at. Now, I believe that these screws are not necessarily all the same length. So these screws that are facing you and the engines in that orientation are going to go there. Okay, I guess the head screws are the same length. On one of the T4-80s or 60s, the screws were not the same length, so I think we're all right there. So obviously
There's no big surprise here.
brand new engine. Not going to show any signs of. Smells like, you know, my fuel residue from at least where I injected fuel into the top. Not seeing any damage there at this point. Here's the rotary head, as suspected. Not really seeing anything. But one thing I can do here is I can install this glow plug, and we can check just to prove that the depth of my plug had no impact on anything.
Hopefully you can see. That's as zoomed in as I can get. Hopefully you can see that
While there is a little small portion of that protruding, it's nowhere close to touching that
rotary valve.
in any way, shape, or form, and it's also nowhere near being able to touch the head or the piston. So I don't know. I don't understand this. I kind of thought that maybe I'd see metal shavings or some damage or something, but it feels fine to me now. Now the only thing I can do, I guess, is put yet another little drop of oil in here. I don't know what I'm supposed to say here as far as why this engine didn't fire. I don't know. All I can say is let's put this thing back together and see if we can get that back on there. I'm going to put these head screws back on, and then we'll see about retiming this engine. Hopefully it won't be a big issue. I guess one of the things I could have done is if I would have been thinking straight, I was really kind of I was really kind of distraught after it wouldn't fire, and then it started feeling all grindy and stuff. So I turned my stand around and went on to run my Sato 220. And then after that, some flyers or modelers came over, and I got kind of distracted after I put the stuff away. I put the stuff away just distraught, just pissed. I could have actually checked this engine to see how it felt then, and maybe it was just a heat-related thing. And I could have given it another shot, but I didn't. Okay, so before I do that, we want to make sure our piston is at top dead center. And we put this top. Maybe try to wind it on here like that's the best way. And then now we can just check to see if it's aligned. We got top dead center here. And we've got, it looks like that could be one tooth off. Looks like this was really supposed to be like this. And I'm off here, so I think that's the way to do it, is kind of line it up and then rotate it on there. I think I'm going to put a little bit of oil on this. There's sufficient tension on there that it should be fine. So we definitely don't want to have this thing mistimed and then have another issue where we can't get the damn thing to run, and then it'd be all a matter of timing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting this on here like this and rotate it. I think I slipped. Shit. I'm also losing my mark here. Okay, this is turning out to be much more challenging than I anticipated. And before I lose it completely, I want to try and re-put my mark on here, because I think I see where I had the mark. Put a nice mark right there like that. Hopefully my oily fingers won't. So that's at top dead center. If we're lucky, we're not lucky because we're still off a tooth here, or several. Shit, this has turned out to be a lot more challenging than looks like. It's about, I may have to actually go back and review the video. Looks like it's a tooth or two off. Damn, look at that. Now that is up at top dead center, and that's at top dead center. That's at top dead center. Hey, I think I actually got it this time. Alright, I'm not touching this damn belt anymore because that's not quite as easy as it seems to be. Head screws are on. Let's put, not sure the best way to do this really. Maybe just kind of stuff them in here like this. I don't know if they'll stay on here if I just kind of try and lay them on here like this. It's going to be one of those things where you have two fingers doing three things. Sorry, I had it out of the frame there. I'm looking in the side here trying to keep these spacers on. Okay, I think I got that one started. Now I just have to deal with this one. Okay, I think I got those going. Alright, well that has been a look inside of this engine to look for any damage. It doesn't appear that whatever I did damaged the engine, but it sure doesn't clear up any issues or any questions as to why in the heck the thing didn't fire. It makes me wonder if I should try that other one with the carb mounted up here and see if that one fires. Actually, of the videos I found of the T4-40 on YouTube, I believe that the only ones that I've seen running were the videos of the other version of the engine where the carb is mounted up here and not this rear intake. So, boy, I don't know. Maybe this rear intake was kind of a dud, or maybe it's probably more likely that people just haven't made a video of this thing running yet. But man, I think what I'm going to do now is put this thing all back together, put it back out on the stand, and do like one of those garage type things where I'm not under pressure of showing this thing running, and I won't have video going. I'll just focus solely on trying to get this thing fired up. And then once I get it running, looks like that's maybe not on the right spot. Maybe once I get this thing running, then did I break that gasket? Oh, looks like I broke that gasket. Shit. Anyway, then make a run video for you. So anyway, I'm gonna stop this right now. That's my plan. Take this out to the garage here in the next few days and see if I can get it fired up in the garage. If I can, maybe I'll do a quick little shorts video with my camera, since that's all I'm going to take out there. And then we'll set this thing up to do a better run video out at the field or outside at some other sunny location when it comes back around in the rotation. So that's it for now.